You may be immediately wondering, why are you bothering to record this game again? There's already an 8-part playlist on your channel of playing through Bionicle Quest for the Toa. Why are you taking the time to go back and repeat this game and store another file on your hard drive and have to upload it to YouTube yet again? Well, I'm starting a new series I'm going to call, due to my lack of creativity, Bionicle Games Review. It's called Review for two reasons. One is most of these games I will have already played and have already uploaded. The second is, well, I'm going to try to make an attempt, which is a redundant thing to say, at reviewing the games, actually saying how good or bad they are. The reason why I'm doing this is partly due to just how dissatisfied I am with the recordings that are already there. And now with the knowledge I have that I did not have back when I made those recordings, I can go back and make better ones. And if I can make those better ones, and if I really care about having a good set of Bionicle game recordings on my YouTube channel, I should go back and use that knowledge and actually make those better ones and post them. So this first game is called Bionicle Quest for the Toa, and it was released somewhere around October of 2001, specifically October 2nd, 2001. I'm going to use as my screen name Ta-Koro. You can type in anything you want, but I like to respect the canon, right? The Batoran you're playing as is the in-canon representation of Ta-Koro, so I'm just going to have the characters in the dialogue, when they're referring to my character, refer to me as Ta-Koro. Also because I'm too lazy to type in a name. Like my YouTube screen name would be a bear to type in. I'm just going to leave it as the standard Ta-Koro color scheme. In a time before time, the island of Matanui was a tropical paradise. Then a shadow fell across the island. A shadow known as Makuta. In the dark years that followed, the islanders put their faith in a legend. A legend that foresaw the arrival of 6 mighty heroes, the Toa. For only the Toa will have the strength and courage to bring peace and light back to the world. As Matanui awaits the arrival of the Toa, a lone islander unknowingly begins a quest that will change Matanui forever. Good morning, Ta-Koro. I've heard that Turaga Whenua wants to see you. Head up this beach and talk to everyone you see. You'll eventually come to the cave entrance to our underground village, where you'll find Whenua. Press the A button to read signs, and talk to other characters. If you want to exit a conversation or menu, press the B button. Sorry, my reading of that was somewhat awkward because I could not time my dialogue changes with my sentences. Just for reference, if you select tutorial at the menu where I selected new game, you'll find that this tutorial is the same thing as the beginning of the game. Or you could say that the game will make you go through the tutorial automatically, even if you select new game instead of tutorial. So there's no point in ever selecting tutorial. You'll just end up repeating the tutorial. So as I said, this was released on October 2nd, 2001. Don't forget to read all the signs, which is somewhat late in the year, which is surprising due to the chronology of this game or its place within the Bionicle storyline. And I actually don't know what the price was at time of release, but according to the preponderance of the internet, GBA cartridges typically cost about $30 at the time. Which, when I first read that, just alarmed me because you could buy over 3 Toa Mata sets for the price of this one game. Save your game often. To access the save game menu, press start. On the pause screen, highlight save game and press the A button. So at least if you had all the Bionicle sets already, this would be very poor value for you to spend your allowance or however you got your lawnmower money or whatever, however you got your money as a child who is the target demographic of this game. $30. There's so many better ways to spend that $30. So GBA games to me leave me a very bad impression as to price to quality or price to enjoyment ratio. But that's what I could find. So the first thing that I would bring up when reviewing this game is its place within the canon of the Bionicle story. During your adventures, you'll face many obstacles that have to be jumped. Stand still and press the B button for a short jump. Press the B button while running for an even longer jump. And this game is the very earliest, it depicts the very earliest events in the timeline of Bionicle 2001, which was the very first year of the Bionicle franchise. That being said, that's not the first events chronologically in the whole Bionicle story. It's just the first events chronologically in the first chapter of Bionicle's story that was written and published in various ways by LEGO Group. Warning, deep water, use your long jump to cross. It is the only piece of media that depicts these events. So it's referenced in many other pieces of media, but this is there was no novel or comic that depicted these events. Now, before I go further, I'd have to mention something called the hierarchy of canon. You're quite the athlete. I saw how well you jumped over those obstacles. To pick up medium-sized stones, walk next to them and press the A button. Press the A button again to throw the object the direction you're facing. Hold the A button down longer to throw farther. Walk up the beach to see how to fling objects. Bye. Your flinger is used for throwing small objects like rocks, madu fruit, snowballs, and discs. Walk over small objects to pick them up. Get fruit from trees by standing next to them and pressing the A button. Give it a try. But what I mean by the hierarchy of canon is just this conventionally agreed upon precedence when it comes to what's canon and what's not by the general Bionicle fandom or Bionicle community. And I'll do this first. Reading the sign begins the flinger practice. Hit as many villagers with madu fruit as you can. Use the L button or R button to throw madu fruit. You only have a short time. There is no consequences to not doing this well, so I'll not put a very large amount of effort into being a good flinger. And that is that generally the text media, such as the novels, the story serials, or the style guides, although you can make an exception due to some first installment weirdness on those style guides, they dictate canon. Good job, I managed to hit the 27 villagers. And other media are only canon so much as they do not conflict with those. So, for example, in 2001, and then slightly below that is the comics. So, for example, in 2001, there was one novel, and I actually forgot to look this up before recording. It may not have been published until 2002, called Tale of the Toa. It was written by Kathy Hapka. That would take precedence over the non-text media. So, the highest, I got a little bit mixed up. We'll go back to the start here. The highest tier piece of media would be the style guide, or the style guide, the 2003 style guide for the golden years, and Greg Farsty's plot summary in that style guide for the year 2001. Underneath that would be Kathy Hapka's The Tale of the Toa, and it would be canon so much as it does not conflict with the style guide. That means that the way... So, for example, in the style guide, Greg Farschi describes the way that the Toa defeat the Shadow Toa is by accepting the darker parts of themselves. And though their shadow versions of themselves got absorbed into them, they just like learned to kind of live with the shadow side of themselves. In C.A. Haka's The Tale of the Toa, what they did was they decided to, instead of take on their own shadow entity, were to each other help fight each other's shadow entities. So they were evenly matched against the shadow version of themselves, but a different Toa may be able to easily defeat their shadow versions. It's kind of using that concept that you'll see in both Phanog and Maze of Shadows, and also the last game of the Paraka animations, that RPG concept that shows up in BIONICLE a lot, and that is certain elements have strength over other elements. And so if you manage to do the right pairings, you can easily defeat your enemy. If you have a set of elements, your enemy has the same set of elements. Excellent work, Takua. You've learned a great deal in a short time. Cross water using Hoi turtles as stepping stones. Before you can grab a Hoi turtle, you have to startle it, startling a Hoi turtle by jumping on or throwing an object at it. I read that wrong. Walk next to them and press the A button to pick one up. Now walk over to the stream and throw a Hoi turtle in by pressing the A button. Once the Hoi turtle is in the stream, you can jump on top of it. Be quick about it, though. The Hoi turtle may move if you're not fast enough. So this is a mechanic introduced in the tutorial that is not used after the tutorial. It's a non-tutorial. So, as I was saying, you would take Greg Farschi's version of the Shadow Toa fight over C.A. Hapka's, essentially, in that instance, because they conflict. And then, beyond the novels would be the story serials, for which there were none in 2001. And then after that would be the comics. And then after that would be the games. So this game is canon so much it does not conflict with the style guide first, then the novels, then the comics. Now we can't just consider novels from 2001, we have to consider novels from other story years as well. That's what I'm getting into. So this game depicts Takua traveling from village to village, and each village doing the same set of tasks at each village. And that is rescue the Turaga who has been kidnapped by the Rahi. Find the two Vuatamaka crystals. Optional, but I'm going to do it. Win at a sport that's played at each village. And lastly, recover the lost Toa Stone at each village. Now let's go through these items individually. So, at each village, the Turaga was... Oh, you can do this without using the Hoi turtle if you jump just in the right spot. Save time, I'll just use a Hoi turtle. Okay. So you push and pull boulders, walk next to them and press the A button, place boulders on switches to unlock doors and solve puzzles. The Turaga being kidnapped by the Rahi, that's not something that necessarily conflicts with other media. However, it is bizarre and awfully convenient that all of them happen to be kidnapped at the same time. But there was at some point an onset of the Arahi attack. Veikama and Makuta made a deal that Makuta would leave the Matoran of Matunui alone on Matunui for 1,000 years. And after that, he started turning the Rahi by putting infected masks on their faces. And then the Rahi started harassing the Matoran. And one of the things the Rahi could have done is kidnap the Turaga. It's not completely implausible. Next, the Vuatamaka crystals. So the Vuatamaka crystals were used to revive the Vuatamaka trees, which apparently provide the life force or something of that sort for each of the villages. Now, this would be significant enough that if it were canon, it would have been mentioned in other media. We knew I was waiting for you, little one. He has a matter of great importance to discuss with you. Enter the cave ahead to visit Onu-Koro, our underground village. Good luck. If those things were canon, then they would be mentioned in higher precedent canon media. Just found a Bula berry. It restores some of your health. You just picked up a Vuatamaka tree fruit. It gives you back some energy. Guard 1, halt. Who goes there? Guard 2, yeah, who goes there? I already said that. Said what? Who goes there? Why are you asking me? It's kind of an impromptu accent. Our village is in desperate need of your help. We fear that the Vatuka beast has Whenua, and he is being held captive in the passageways to the east. You will need Veikama's fire staff to see your way in the dark tunnels. It can be found in the village. You actually do not need it at all, but it's a useful tool, but you don't need it. So let's talk to this guy first. Our village is in desperate need of your help. The nearby Vuatamaka tree, that is the source of food and energy to our people, has been poisoned. In order to restore this tree to health, you must find two Vuatamaka tree crystals and bring them to me. Someone has also stolen our sacred Toa Onua stone. Please help us, Takua. Okay. What I was trying to say is, these Vuatamaka trees, if they were as important as this game depicts, they would be depicted in higher precedent media. And so, just because I'm going to expand the definition of conflicting. If something is super important, that if it were so important, it would have been in those media, but it's not, I'm going to consider that a conflict. And so these Vuatamaka trees, they just don't have any collaboration in any other media. And so we're just going to say they're bogus. But the last thing you have to do, the village games are fine, whatever, is what's most interesting. And that is the Toa stones. Oh, we finally found the fire staff. Equipped by pushing. Oh, I hate this. Okay. We'll get to this later when I talk about reviewing the game. And we can talk to some of these Matoran and get some filler text. It's so damp and musty underground. I'd rather live high up in the trees in Le-Koro. I'm sure Whenua will be happy when the drill of Whenua has been found. Have you ever seen a Hoi? So you'll notice that all of these Matoran, there's only one back sprite. So he has a Miru going forward. Okay, I guess Miru... Let's see here. Okay, never mind. Let's see if we can find... That mirror looked like a mirror from the back, too. My Toa's not wearing... Some one of these guys who's not wearing an Akaku. They're all wearing Akakus, apparently. Okay, he's wearing a Pakari. He's wearing a Hao. Okay, so Pakari does have a backwards Pakari. I'm like, what is he talking about? We'll see later. And that is collecting the Toa stones. So what this game depicts is the Toa stones were originally owned by the Tohunga, or made, in order to use as, like, pieces, I guess is what you would call them, for telling the story of the coming of the Toa. So they were used to represent the Toa, and they were used as a visualization or physicalization of the Toa as the story was being told. And the Rocky, when the Makuta gave the Rocky infected mass... Okay, I'm gonna equip the staff. Went and stole the Toa stones for some particular reason, and did so all at once. So when Makuta travels to different villages, it just so happens that all of them happen to be missing their Toa stones. Whoops. Getting the right bumper and the B key mixed up. Now, this may seem fine until you try to figure out how that fits in to other higher precedent media. So, fast forward to 2005, at the novel Bionicle Adventure 6, Maze of Shadows. And towards the beginning of that novel, page 17 to be exact, Ga-Koro gets a vision. It's not really clear what exactly happens in his vision, but his vision gives him the following, I guess, idea. And that is, the Toa will need to store a little bit of their Toa power in the Toa stones that Le-Koro gave them, and hide those Toa stones around the island of Matanui. And Ga-Koro doesn't really have much to say to back up that this is really the right thing to do. And so many of the other Toa doubt him, especially the more strong-willed ones like Matau and Onua. But Ga-Koro and Nokama managed to convince everybody to put a portion of the Toa stone their power in a Toa stone and hide that Toa stone somewhere in each of their respective Wakis. And the reason that Ga-Koro gives for doing this is that it may be that the Toa will fail, and then it will be required that there would be Toa stones there such that Matoran could stumble upon them and become Toa to take their place. Now, the logistics of this doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, because in order for there to be Matoran, well, the Matoran were all trapped in sleeping pods. In order to get them awake, they'd have to sacrifice their power. In other words, if they failed in their mission, then there wouldn't be any Matoran to become Toa. So I don't know who they were planning on taking over for them, or who Ga-Koro was planning on taking over for him. Maybe you could argue that Ga-Koro was getting away with a substantial explanation, and the reason the vision that he was given for a different reason entirely. But Ga-Koro just didn't understand at the time, so he made up an explanation in order to try to convince the other Toa to go along with this. So the exact quote is, Le-Koro invested his energy into 6 stones. Each of us will put a portion of ours into only 1. Then we will hide them on this island in places that only someone with the heart of a true Toa could ever reach. Now, that kind of raises the question, if they put some of their power into Toa stones, would that reduce how much power they had available to them in combat? And I would argue, to be consistent with the rest of Bionicle canon, no, because there's other... First of all, Le-Koro did not suddenly become a Tohunga when he put all of his Toa power into those Toa stones, right? he didn't become a Tohunga until the other Toa tapped that power out. Now you could argue he didn't actually put his power into the Toa stones, he just put a piece of it, and that piece of it kind of channeled the rest of it. But he didn't turn to a Tohunga when he made the stones. He was still able to be a Toa and use his elemental power until the other Tohunga became Toa. Also, we've seen the Toa Nuva have their power stored in their Nuva symbols. And yet, they'll still be able to use their power when they're stored in the Nuva symbols. Now, there is some inconsistency with that instance in that when the Borok cow took power from the Nuva symbols to use for themselves, the Toa Nuva did not become Tohunga. And once the Borok cow died, that power returned to the Toa, and not into the Nuva symbol, but into them in their bodies. So, my point is that we've seen other depictions of Toa power being stored in other places besides the Toa's body. Somewhat strange, but it's something that happens, there is a precedent for in the rest of Bionicle media. So, just because some of their power was in Toa stones doesn't necessarily mean they couldn't use it, or they felt a weakness in their power because some of it was given into those Toa stones. Now, another significant quote from Maze of Shadows involving this topic is from Matau, and that is, "No heart of a true Toa hero needed," he muttered, "just feet that want to wander." That is, Matau grumbled that after all this, it would probably be some curious Matoran who stumbled on them by accident. No heart of a true Toa needed, I repeat, just feet that want to wander. Now, there's two descriptions here of who would find the Toa stones. This is what the staff does, it stuns them so they can't move. One is the heart of a true Toa, given by Veikama, and the other is feet that want to wander, given by Matau. And I know Matau is presenting this as a contrast to what Veikama had to say, but Takua fits both those descriptions. And it could be that Greg Farshti is trying to be clever here, and is presenting these descriptions in contrast that will be fulfilled in unison, or be fulfilled together in Takua. In other words, implying that Takua will be the one to find the Toa stones. So you might be going, if Takua is the one to find these Toa stones, then he would be finding Toa stones that the Tohunga hid. He wouldn't be finding Toa stones that the Tohunga had, but then lost and was recovering them. Also, that loosens up the timeline, because there was no time in which the Toa stones would need to be stolen. They were hidden ever since the Tohunga were there, and they were hidden there's 1,000 years over which Takua could have found those Toa stones. He wouldn't have to find them in like one day, or in a short period of time, or after the Makuta stopped leaving the Matoran alone and started using the Rahi. He could have found them during those 1,000 years of peace. So now, although we have collaboration that Takua found the 6 Toa stones, the circumstances over which he did so, and what it meant for him to find those Toa stones no longer matches up. And this account also makes sense in that when Takua put the Toa stones together, there was this big blast of energy that gave him amnesia. We'll get to that later. And it summoned the Toa to the island of Matanui, which would suggest that the Toa stones held power. And this would explain why the Toa stones have power. So this makes a lot of sense, however, it does conflict with this game, somewhat. I will say that to counter this novel depiction, that it is implied, although I don't think it's ever directly stated, that when the story team invented the Toa stones in the context of BIONICLE 2004, Le-Koro giving his power to the Tohunga by means of stones, those were supposed to be the same stones used to tell the story of the coming of the Toa, because they're called the Toa Stones. But if these Toa Stones, so to speak, were hidden, and Takua found them, then these would be the stones that they would use to tell the coming of the Toa. But, well, they wouldn't have had to tell the story of the coming of the Toa until it was the crisis where the Toa were needed, which would have been the Rocky attack. So you could argue that Takua found this, but Takua didn't put all the stones together until oh, I awakened the boss. That's annoying. You can do this without fighting the boss. I did this on my first playthrough. We're just gonna pepper it with fruit until it. Oh, it's worth it to fight it because it gives you an Amano-Volo. Well, we'll figure out how to pronounce it later. A Mono-Volo-sphere or something like that, which increases your capacity for health and energy and momentarily fills it to full capacity. Thank you for rescuing me. You're quite the adventurer. We had better get back to Onu-Koro. There is much that I must tell you. Follow me. It is a time of great danger, Takua. The island of Matanui is under siege by the evil Makuta. Dangerous beasts wearing the infected masks of Makuta roam the land. Each of the 6 villages on Matanui are in danger. I have heard that some of my fellow Turaga are missing, and their tools, like Vekama's fire staff, have been scattered about the island. Makuta has also stolen the sacred Toa stones that are used to tell the legends. You must seek out the Toa Anua stone in the passageways north of here. If the Toa stones are not recovered, the legend of Matanui cannot be told. Alas! That is not the end of it. The Watamaka tree that provides fruit to our village has been poisoned. Only by finding the 2 Watamaka crystals and returning them to the tree can it be healed. Wow, you have just found the Volo-Luta launcher. This will allow you to grab objects. Well, it just says grab. I was so hoping it was going to say grapple. Grab objects from a distance. Go to the inventory screen to equip the Volo-Luta launcher. Your L button or R button. Use your L button or R button to assign the L button or R button to fire the launch. Whatever. After I didn't read that right. After the Volo-Luta launcher attaches to an object, press and hold the L button or R button to activate the Volo-Luta. Essentially, then Takua could not have found the 6 Toa stones and brought them together until the summoning of the Toa, because if you do that, they would summon the Toa. Well, that means that they could not tell the story of the coming of the Toa with the stones until the Toa already came. Right? So that makes it such that the stones used to tell the story of the coming of the Toa would have to be different stones than the ones that Le-Kon used to give his power to the Toa Metru. Although we can say, I am going off a somewhat of an implication here, as opposed to just a really pure bony description, but it's pretty safe, I believe. Takua traveling around Matanui and finding the Toa stones and bringing them together can be canon, and is canon. The timeline over which he does it, and what those stones were used for and where they originate from, is different than how this game depicts. So that's a somewhat canon element of this game, but not in its completeness and entireness. I believe that the instructions given to Safire about the story that they were going to depict in this game was Ta-Koro going around and finding the Doa stones. Okay, nothing up here. Use your Volo-Luta launcher here. Remember to hold down the L button, or R button, once it has attached to something. Okay. So let's go forward in time some more. Go all the way to 2008. With the novels Secrets of the Swamp and The Final Battle. So that would be BIONICLE Legends 10 Secrets of the Swamp. It's a good place to have the staff, but I don't have it equipped because I want to make room for the Volo-Luta launcher, and switching tools is a lot of work. You have found a Watamaka tree crystal. And in that we learn some more backstory of the Tohunga. So, oops. I'm not getting the controls right here. And that is, they started their lives in Karanui and were trained by Hellrings and Hydraxon. And then they entered the Codex and were placed in, or they put themselves in, Toa canisters to house them until a crisis occurred that would require them to be released to help fix the Motunui robot. So apparently, Hellrings and Hydraxon, when they knew that this is what they were supposed to be used for, they didn't actually tell all of them, they only told Tahu, which is kind of strange. And then Tahu told Kopaka, but Kopaka only. They basically tricked the whole rest of the Toa into sealing themselves in the Toa canisters. Anyway. Man, I'm leeching health through these falling stalactites. You have found a Watamaka tree crystal. So, well, a crisis like that where the Tohunga would need to be deployed eventually occurred when the Makuta cast Motunui into deep sleep and the Motunui robot crashed into the planet of Aqua Magna, or the moon of Aqua Magna. You have found the first Toa Stone. Thank you for getting our Toa Stone back. You are now free to go to the next village. Gotta play the village game first. And so the Codex shot the Tohunga to where the source of this problem was and where the robot was the most broken. And that was where the Matoran were. Well, that was it was Metru Nui. Unfortunately, and I suggest there was somewhat of a delay because this was after the Toa Metru actually took the Matoran out of Metru Nui. So what the safety features, the safety that was triggered in the robot was the exit of the Matoran. When that happened, Yeah, the Kodrek shot the Toamata to the island of Matanui, or the water surrounding it, but there was a malfunction, and the Toamato did not actually get transported to the landmass. They just kind of ended up floating there, and floated in the sea surrounding Matanui for 1,000 years. So they did technically fall from the sky. You have done well, Takua. To continue, you must first race me, Onipu, the greatest of all the Usul Crab racers. Collect all 8 buried crystals to win. Each crystal will give you special abilities. So they just kind of floated around Matanui, the island of Matanui, for 1,000 years. Now, Secrets of the Swamp implies that they lost their memories due to the 100,000 year wait in the Codex. But probably floating for 1,000 years in the sea surrounding Matanui didn't help. And somewhere in those novels, Wiliwa says that he had to reassemble himself because his flesh had rotted while it was in the while he was stored in the Toa canister. Which I guess is an attempt to be consistent with the promotional animations where the Toa assemble themselves when they arrive, particularly Taku and Anua. One more. Come on, get it. Yeah, I won. By a lot, actually. Now, there had to be some event that stopped them from floating and actually caused them to... I better equip the... actually caused them to actually arrive on Matanui all at the same time. And I believe this is written somewhere in some canon media, but I actually haven't found it. I looked for it, I couldn't find where this is said. When Takua brought the 6 Toa stones together, that actually is what triggered, that let the Toa canisters know that there was civilization where the island of Matanui was, and that's what allowed them to find the island of Matanui. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna get wiped out. This is not okay. This takes too long. Whoops. I did that again. I jumped when I was supposed to use my fruit. There we go. Okay. And that event was, although I couldn't find a direct source for this, when Takua brought the Toa stones together, and that, allowed the Toa to, the Toamata to get to Matanui, finally. So, the big Takua bringing the 6 Toa stones together, making that big explosion and summoning the Toa to Matanui, I believe is also canon. So the title of this game, Quest for the Toa, is correct and fitting. backstory of the Toa brings up some things. One is, in one of the comics, Veikama breaks the story of the Toa Metru by telling the Toa Nuva, "You are not the first Toa." Well, this is kind of dumb, because although they only knew the story they were going to write up to 2004 at the time, it's kind of silly for Veikama to say that the Toa Nuva were not the first Toa, citing the Toa Metru as an example, when the Toa Mata were much older than the Toa Metru were. Far, far older. Now, it is true that they were not the first Toa, because Hellrinks was older. That was a segue into talking about the Toa Metru was somewhat silly. I definitely don't want to jump on that platform. Let's see if I can equip some bombs. Oh, there's only okay, I only have 9 of them. Okay, I'll equip them anyway. Yeah, it's not clear to me who exactly was an older Toa, Lezovic or Hellrinks. I guess you could argue that Lezovic was on the first team of Toa, and Hellrinks was not on a team. So she was the oldest Toa, but she wasn't the first team of Toa because she was only one singular Toa. Underscore Doubles Mock is pretty good. It's probably why I won the contest at depicting the age of the Toa, and that she does have a very Toa Mata-like design, which would make sense for a older Toa, which was created at the same era, although somewhat earlier than the Toa Mata were. Even though Hoserinks got more votes. It really did get more votes, I'm sorry. But, Doubles Mock did make a lot of sense. Also, we have this life cycle, right? Life cycle described by Veikama as the narrator at the end of Web of Shadow. Ooh, I wasted one. Web of Shadows, that is Batoran into Toa, Toa into Turaga. This is the way of the Bionicle. Well, Turaga Duma, he was a Toa. You would assume he was a Toa at some point, right? But the character was built to be a Turaga, so... Turaga Duma is a character in Bionicle that has a lot of potential, but they didn't really do much with him as a character. I don't know what I'm doing. My keyboard's sensitive. It's a good keyboard though, so I'll get used to it and then I'll be better. But the beginning, what's it called? Island of Doom depicts Turaga Duma as somewhat of a sage who knew how to read the stars, which are messages to the Toa, to the Matoran of Metru from Metru himself, right? He would control the stars above Metru to give messages to the Matoran. And how he reacted to being woken up while still in Metru from his pod was, I've just been awaiting your return. So like, when the Toa Metru awakened the Matoran that were trapped in the pods, I would presume that they also awakened Turaga Duma. But they left Turaga Duma behind, as depicted in the Legend of Metru in Metru. And so he just got woken up in Metru to find Metru in ruins, overrun by, covered in Vizarok webs, and no Matoran there. When the last he'd seen it, Well, it was before the Makuta cast Matanui into a deep sleep, and he probably didn't even see it coming, whatever the Makuta did to him. So he had probably no idea why he was even asleep, and then his reaction was not to go on some crazy adventure trying to find the Matoran. As far as we know. But instead just to wait for them to inevitably return. I guess maybe he guessed that someone would use the Staff of Artaka and the Matoran would come back, or he knew of the Tohumata, or... Oh dear. What'd I do? Okay. It would seem it would make more sense that Tragadoom would suddenly go on some crazy quest to try to find, or Duma. Remember, it's pronounced Duma, not Doom, because they got to use the term for LEGO customers who speak other languages besides English. That was silly. But oh well. He just sat there in Metro Nui and waited until they got back. And lastly, we're talking about the canonicity of this. This game is referenced in Monog. Now, it's referenced somewhat poorly in Monog, but it is. So, Veikama tells Takua, have you forgotten about all of your adventures? The way that the Matanui Online game, that's what Monog stands for, starts is Takua waking up on the beach, which is the same beach that he lands on at the end of this game. And at the end, Veikama tells Takua that Takua found his mask and his fire staff. Now, nowhere in this game does Takua collect Veikama's mask. But he does collect Veikama's fire staff. And it seems like what Templar was trying to do there, was reference this game, but just kind of got it wrong, essentially. In that they included that Takua found Veikama's mask in there. So at least there's an attempt to reference this game, in Monog. Now, Monog is not a fully canon piece of media. It has elements of it that conflict with higher precedent media than it. So, a game being referenced in a semi-canon piece of media, it is preponderance, right? That point is being reinforced with more media, which makes it seem more canon. But it does not validate it, because Monog is not fully canon anyway. So in summary, welcome to Ga-Koro. You may have access to our village by participating in our boat race. You'll race against me, I'm really fast. Your rowing team will follow the drum beat you play with the R button and L button. Oops. I fuck. Okay. That was bad. So in summary, this game's story can be corroborated in that Takua traveled around the villages, finding, through the Wahis, found the 6 Toa Stones, brought the 6 Toa Stones together somewhere. The Magi Circle was a perfectly fine place. And in doing so, managed to summon the Tohumata who are floating around Matanui in canisters to Matanui. That is canon. The details of this game, like the Fuwatamaka tree crystals, the kidnapping of the those are not canon. The kidnapping of the Turaga, that cannot be corroborated, but it's probably fine. Now there's a little bit more to be said. If I remember what that was. Oh yeah, so the character of Takua is canon, right? So Takua is this nomad adventurer who travels around from village to village helping them out. That behavior of Takua is canon. So, at least that character depiction, which character depictions are part of canon, is canon. Good, got that taken care of. So that's another element that's canon. Yeah. So let's do this dungeon. That's pretty much it when it comes to canon goes. So, not a completely non-canon piece of media, but not a completely canon piece of media. Oops. Oh, whoops, I forgot to do something before I did this. I'm gonna go get some bombs. Cool, so now that I've gotten, through all the, gotten through that, I'm gonna give my voice a rest. And then maybe in an hour into recording from now, I'll kind of get into some reviewing of game stuff, but my voice is tired, so I'm going to shut up for a while. Unless something prompts me to speak up. Oops. It jump instead of shoot. I've been noticing I'm doing that a lot. Okay. I need health in a severe way here. Got the health. Okay. Out of there. Good. Okay, I need health again. You have found a Wakamaka tree crystal. Drop the health. Got more health. Is there another Watamaka tree crystal around here somewhere? Doesn't appear to be. I'm gonna look closer up here. I forgot, in Ga-Koro where exactly the crystals are. Test. The Makika that lives in this cave is immune to Madu fruit. Be careful. No, the bombs don't work either. Can't get through. Ah, phooey. Okay. Thank you for rescuing me, little one. The island of Matanui needs your help. As I have feared, some of the sacred Toa stones are still missing. Our own Toa galley stone was taken by a creature that lives in the cliffs across the harbor. The harbor is to the southwest. Hopefully the other Watamaka tree crystal is over there as well. I want to talk to the wizard. Oh, come on. Excellent work. You've recovered the first half of the Watamaka tree crystal. There is still one more you must find. Warning, Daikao plants don't just try to eat you. You can throw a Madu Kabolo into one, and it will make an even larger explosion. Make sure to stand far enough away when you try it. Seriously? Okay, if I could have to release sooner. There we go. Whoops. I have not missed anything. Yucks. Seriously? Oh dear. Well, I'll have to come back for it. There's the other crystal. No, not much reward for fighting that stuff. Thank you for getting our Toa Stone back. You are now free to go to the next village. But I won't, because I have some unfinished business to do here. Gotta get that Amano that's health and energy capacity increase. I tried to jump over it. If I would have gotten it the first time, I wouldn't have had to backtrack. It would have automatically backtracked me once I had gotten to the Toa Stone. But, you can let yourself die, I suppose, but that's not very dignified. You have found we newest drill. You can use the drill to dig under some enemies and knock them over, or to dig under walls like this one. Giant scorpions can be distracted with a boulder. And that right there is this random line uttered by this random Pomatorn right here that you will forget later. But it's very important. Giant scorpions can be distracted by boulders. So you dig under scorpions, and if it's really big, you can dig under it by having it be distracted by a boulder. The information is given to you. It's just given to you early, before you remember it. Or at least before I remember it. Given, well, you know what I was trying to say, so early that it's before the threshold of remembrance. Oops. Oh, okay, well. I'll talk to this guy first. Help! My friend is trapped under these rocks. We were practicing Koli when a wild kick smacked those boulders over there. Will you help us? Okay. Thanks. You can have this Amana. It's Amana. Okay, Amana Vola. I'm not using it. Well, I don't know who would not be using one of those, but whatever you say. Well, these birds will eventually fly away if you hit them enough times, but until you have the disc, it's difficult to hit them. Once you have the disc, then you can hit these birds with your disc. There we go. Got off my case. There's boulders here which suggests that you need to use boulders to do something. You don't. Come on, let me out of this area. There we go. It's seriously happening? Okay. So first time I played this game, I got stuck here, and I got very, very stuck here. In fact, there's a video titled Hopelessly Stuck on the trying to get to Po-Koro or something like that. To make matters worse, I actually have a bachelor's degree in physics. I didn't think of increasing the amplitude of my oscillation by just increasing the starting position. I am dumb. But if you don't know the context of that, that's fine. I went through the entire game not utilizing that. Stop. Who are you? What do you want? Why are you here? How do we know you aren't an ally of the Makuta? What's the password? There's no the password. That's right, okay, you can pass. I already live here. Oh, they repeated that joke. That's not cool. Don't repeat jokes. Okay. Grab some random filler text. Onua often meets with Whenua. I think they're good friends. If you win all the village games, you get a copper mask. You can talk to him for more for different filler text. Yeah. The wizard. Huh. I did forget to talk to the wizard after getting both the amount of Watamaka crystals, which might be costing me a amount of Volo spheres. Just putting that out there. All the sand and dust is making my mask itchy. Oh, should I go back to... No, I won't go back. I'll just keep pressing for it. I'm not going to go back all the way to Onu-Koro, all the way to Ga-Koro just to get that amount of Volo sphere I passed up. You have found Onuwa's hammer. Now I'm pronouncing it Onua. It's Onuwa. There's a difference. I would have been goofing up. Okay, now that I have the hammer, I can equip said hammer. Actually equip said hammer. And now I can hammer this stuff. Which allows me to get the disc. And now I will equip said disc. So up until this point in the game, energy doesn't really limit you very much. You need energy in order to use the tools like the drill or the fire staff or the whatever you call the launcher. But you usually have way more than enough energy you actually need. You're wondering why there's so many energy pickups. I still don't know why there's so many energy pickups, but now you have something called a disc, which is something that requires energy that does damage. Now energy is a premium, and you have to worry about running out of it. Okay, so this right here, whoops. Is this nonsense thing that at the time doesn't seem to do anything. Like you stick your rock in it, the geyser shoots it up, and it later will fall somewhere else. Like right there. I don't know why they show you this now, it will be utilized later in the game. But not yet. So the disc homes, unlike the fruit. Now, and it uses energy instead of ammo. But energy recharges if you stand still, so you can consider it having infinite ammo if you wish. The one thing I dislike the most about this game, this may seem really kind of strange, but it's the equipment changes. It's purely and simply the equipment changes. Now, I don't know how Safire could have done it differently such that the equipment changes were less painful. But the only thing I could think of is just have less of them. Because I don't have the, like, over time having to hit the select key, toggle with the arrow keys to the correct tool, press the left or right bumper to equip that tool, and then pressing select or int or start again is just too many button pushes. And with excess tool switches, that's a lot of excess button pushes and crimping of my style and slowing down of the pace of the game. Whoops. Did myself damage there. Okay. Oops. These are not a problem anymore because the disc homes. So the disc can hit the birds. And then it flies away. These rocks are another ammo you can use. I'm not, because I only have 2 slots to equip things, and the hammer, the disc, and whatever other 2 are the most important. And I hate the equipment changes, so I don't want to do a lot of them. Oh, here we go. You found a Watamaka tree crystal. Another equipment change. Come on. Okay. There we go. You found a Watamaka tree crystal. Oh, my Moa bird is trapped behind these 2 boulders, and neither of them will move. Equipment change. Thanks for helping me get my Moa bird out. Oh, can you help me get me out? Okay. Okay, another equipment change. Using the disc too early. There we go. Disc. Use it too late. Disc. Too late again. There we go. You have a short window of time to hit these things in. Also also want to stand right in the path. That helps. There we go. Got it. Boom. Okay. Ah, got it. Is that all of them? I hope so. Time to drill. It was so hot in that cage. Let's go back to the village where it's much cooler there. Well, Po-Koro never really struck me as cool, but okay. You're the best Ta-Koro. The desert just won't be the same when you're gone. Okay. Mono Aminavolo. Let's go talk to find the wizard. Long live Pohatu, you've recovered both of the Vuata Maka tree crystals that we need to survive. Yeah, let me get this thing that I forgot to pick up in Ga-Koro. Okay, next dungeon. So many tool switches. It's all about not messing up and getting stuck. There's no guarantee I will get this on my first try. Yeah, bottom. I'll come destroy this boulder. Got it. Okay. One more go round. Oh, I got stuck. Oh no. There's no way out. Phooey. There's just a design flaw in the game where it's like you can get stuck and there's like no recovery. You're just done. You have to redo the entire dungeon. You're just trapped somehow. It won't move. Try jumping. Try going into the menu. Coming back out. Just can't jump out. Boo, Safire! Tool change! I hate the tool change. Get this tool change back over with. And then they respawn you with reduced health and energy because you failed, apparently. Why do I have... Why is my... What? What even? Be that. Okay. Showed the launcher, but then I went to the menu and it showed that the stones were selected. But I didn't want either of them. Oh, okay. Got it. Cool. Thank you for getting our Toa Stone back. You are now free to go to the next village. Go. Play Koi. I am the village Koi champion. Let's play. Kick as many rocks into your opponent's goal as possible while defending your own. The player who makes the most goals wins. Okay. GM. Goal. Why can't I move? Thank you. Here we go. Stuff's happening now. Okay, I'm winning 8-2. Second place is 0. Did it. Yeah. Okay, I won 9, second place was 1. Cool. Equipment change. I've heard that skill with the Volo Luta launcher will help you get a Kiwa bird. Every time I try to play with the others, I get knocked off the ledge. There must be some way to get my own Kiwa bird. Yes, we have to actually steal a Kiwa bird from a lookalike of ourselves. What? Okay, let me try to do this better. That's what I want to use. Good. Ah. Wait for them to finish. That's gonna be ridiculous. Okay. Wow, I got annihilated. I have to sit this out. Is there a way to skip forward? It'd take forever. There are really 3 AIs still going at it. Okay. Bump them. Oh. Go. Get hit. There you go. Shoot. Hey. Oh. Ooh-wee. AI's going at it again. Do you know what it takes to be a hero? Is that it? Okay, good. That's over with. First dungeon. You have found a Watamaka tree crystal. Cool. That one's hidden by a tree somewhere. Oops. Did I really just sick the hawk on that thing? I guess I did. Okay. There we go. I believe there's 5 young. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this sign says, "Danger, eagles are known to carry objects as big as medium-sized rocks." Okay. Oh, Takua, you saved me. Time to go back to the village. Once again, you have proven that a small stature does not prevent great deeds. As a reward for your rescuing me, here is Matao's Cow staff. I like to talk about myself in third person. With it, you can clear trees from your path. Use it wisely. Only the foolish use the Cow staff without good purpose. Once you find the Tohunga stone, you must go to the Icelands to the northeast. I've heard that a strange tree nearby may provide the answer to the location of the Tohunga stone. Search wisely, and may Liwa look out for you. Okay, you have found Matao's Cow staff. Right to the wizard. Liwa be praised. Thanks for getting those Watamaka tree crystals, Takua. See what the flavor text is. Kongu has a fantastic memory. He remembers almost everything that he is told. The Watamaka fruit on every level will help you recharge your energy. You have found Nuju's ice pick. This can be used to cool lava or use it with the Voluta launcher. Have you tried your hand at Kiwa bird riding yet? Okay, these are the Ta-Koro pits. If you win all the village games, you get the copper mask. I like it up here in the trees, it's very peaceful. Kongu has a fantastic memory. Okay. Oh, here we go. This is the one I was looking for. Matao and Vekama are said to be good friends. 2005 foreshadowing. Or maybe just back explaining. Okay. Oops. You collect a bunch of these thingamaboofuses, and then once you get all of them, you can go to the mysterious tree, press the A button, and... What am I doing here? And that will get you the Toa Stone. Here's another one of them. Although Mattel said that you do not use this without the Cow staff without good purpose, the game doesn't provide you with any bad purposes for using it. I guess theoretically I could recharge my fruit first before cutting down the tree, but... Do I have enough yet? Nope. I need one more. Okay, find one more circle, green circle thing. Yeah, I already got that one. Control, like, messing up. I got this one. Accidentally went into this area, which will respawn all the Rahi in the previous area. Isn't that nice? It's not in some secret location, it's in like a mainstream location. I just don't in this area. Just haven't found it yet. Oh. Okay, got it. You have found the fourth Toa Stone. Thank you for getting our Toa Stone back. You are now free to go to the next village. Okay, I'm gonna check my recording here. Okay. Everything's fine so far. I'm always in the mood for a good snowball fight. Get ready. Press the A button to fling snowballs. You will slide around on the ice when you fling snowballs. If you can avoid being totally covered in snow, you win. Fling, 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 fling. Oh, well, I guess I lose. I got caught in the crossfire in there. What? How did I win? Well, winning is winning, I guess. To feel the fresh snow on your face is so refreshing. What? Cool. Let's look at this. Many from our village like to skate on Lake Naho. I'm not sure what happened to our element of melting. Well, all it ever does is snow up here. Would it hurt anyone if we had some sun? Ko-Koro is too cold. I'd rather live in a warm village like Po-Koro. I'm not sure what happened to our element of melting, but without it, we can't melt water for our village. Okay. Control mixing up. Gotta somehow figure out a way to get moving. There we go. Ah, phooey. Okay. I am doing really bad at this at the moment. Ugh. Those models are very un-Bionicle-like. Comically so. Okay. Be on you. Giant flying snow penguins that descend with no warning. Oh. Yeah. Ugh. There. Nope. He's gonna drop on me. Got the goat. The goat got me. Oh. Okay. Hey, don't arouse the penguin. Uh-oh. Okay. Got through there. All it ever does is snow up here. Would it hurt anybody if we had some sun? So, it's probably the same as the Guard's dialogue. The element of melting. An infamous pickup from The Legend of Motunui. You can't get to it in either version, and it does nothing. The Watamaka fruit on every level will help you recharge your energy. Okay. Let's do some dungeoning. Instead of the pick, let's take bombs. Well, whatever works. Well, I guess we have to get trailed by a penguin a bit. Giant flying snow penguin. Shadow. Still got the giant flying snow penguin on me. Oh, still here. I desperately need health. You have found a Watamaka tree crystal. Oops, that was not a jump. Okay. This giant flying snow penguin. Oh, I guess I have to trigger it. Well, phooey. Ah, I walked off the edge. Oh. The health's going better this time. The reason why I'm trying this, I'm trying to see if there's a pickup down there, but I guess there. Hope the other Watamaka tree crystal is on the other dungeon. Thank you. Then Nuju says, in Matoran, thank you for saving me, Takua. Let's go back to the village. We can talk more there. As a reward for rescuing me, I have a gift for you. Nokama's trident. With this staff, you'll be able to launch water balls at your enemies. Now that you have proven your ability, I must ask for your aid. The sacred Toa Kopaka stone has been stolen from Kini Nui. It must be found and returned so that the legend of Motunui can be told. In addition, Matanui's henchmen have stolen the element of melting from our village. This artifact helps us melt the ice that covers Mount Ihu and lets some water flow freely around our village. Okay, this isn't very useful. This is too many tools. Okay, next dungeon, I guess. Oh, what's to Tawahi? There's one down south. You have found the element of melting. It will help Ko-Koro village return to normal. No, I hit the wrong button. Ah! That could have big consequences. So I just did not hit the wrong button right there. This could have been done much more quickly. And we got the other one. You have found a Watamaka tree crystal. Okay, tool change. You basically use it, then you do this number. Fooey, oops. Eventually get this down. Okay. Oh, Fooey. Oof. Oh dear. Ah! I just don't like where that's positioned. Waiting for it to melt. Oh, and now you won't melt? Fine. These are fights I'd have to do, so I'm not going to start the fights yet unless I have to. Yeah, it looks like I have to do these fights in order to get the Toa Stone, so time to do the fights. Oh. It'd be so time consuming. No. Just have every single last health point for this. The stones are better for this than the disc. Okay. You have found the 5th Toa Stone. Yay. Thank you for getting our Toa Stone back. You are now free to go to the next village. Talk to the wizard, if I can find the wizard in this place. Okay, I finally found the example of someone wearing a how, they turn around and you see an akaku. Anyway. Here's the wizard. Ko-Koro is saved. You found both of the Watamaka tree crystals. The sphere. Have you seen the Toa-Kopaka stone? I heard it was lost. Well, where's the element of melting guy? Oh no. I didn't... Oh, phooey. Well... I don't know why it didn't register. See if we can get it again. We're gonna want to save those stone ammos for later, for the for Ta-Koro. I got it. Okay. Some guy I talked to after I get the element of melting, I give it to him, and he's on the left side of the map. I'll get that ammo. Well, I couldn't find him, so let's just move on. Okay. So I believe those things don't really take damage, so you just kind of avoid them, basically. This epic sauce music just started. Don't chase me. Gonna say that for later, but I guess I picked it up. Get ready to use the disc. Yep. goodies up here? Oh, I gotta get rid of this. Let me get to say goodies. I don't remember there being anything particularly important. Whatever, we'll just go on to the village. There he is. Let's get him. We can't let him get away. Stop where you are. Okay. Did you just repeat the joke? That's frustrating. Don't you get tired of carrying all that stuff? Oh. Commenting on my hyperspace arsenal? You look like a strong fellow. Have you thought of joining the village guard? If you win all the village games, you get the copper mask. Oh, this is funny. You've probably figured this out by now, but we also need Watamaka tree crystals. You're the only one who can find them. The rest of us must defend Ta-Koro. Do not return until you have found the Watamaka tree crystals. In this game, the Tamatorn are characterized by just being, like, hard. No mercy. I guess it's supposed to sound militaristic, but I don't know if that's militaristic, that's just silly. Ta-Koro is too hot, okay, well. I've heard that Ko-Koro likes to wander around Motunui in his spare time. Okay, Ko-Koro. Sweet. Ignalu lava surfing. Push the A button to go as fast as your lava board will carry you. Good luck. Oh, it's like a speed game. You gotta have a pace. It says a tempo. You have to kind of keep this tempo. Don't get impatient and start clicking faster. It doesn't speed you up. Cool. You didn't give me the copper mask? Yes, I have it. So that that copper Picari up there that I got from beating all the village games. Lava board. You have found the lava board. To use it, stand next to the lava and push the L button or R button. You can move yourself around on the lava board by flinging objects or by using the Vololuta launcher. Wait, can it go this way yet? Nope. Guess we gotta exit the village again, and then Veikama gets kidnapped. Yeah, Veikama's not here anymore, and then you can go up. Careful of goats. Oh. Not goats, these things. Okay. Now I need the energy because now I used it all shooting the disc at those things. Didn't mention how like this was released in October, which is after Minogue. We'll get to that when we get to Minogue. You have found the antidote. Hurry back to the village with it. So you heard... I mean, I don't know what this does. I thought... As far as I know, it does nothing. Yeah, I don't know. I think that was something they thought of putting in the game, and then... Oh. I left and had to come back, so it respawned everything. Okay. Hope for me. Those Maha over there. Okay, so you're not going to cheat them the first time. So you just kind of let them pass, and then you try again the second time. I'm going to try this combination of discs with the bombs. See if that does well. Against these things. So basically they just run until they get to this hole. So we want to approach this problem from the other side, as that you originally approach it from. So you're not chasing them at first. They're sort of chasing you. And then you want to shoot the bombs as you're waiting for the disc to come back. Oh no. Ah, one more. I goofed. Okay, I'm probably not gonna get it the second time either. Somehow the controls got bad. I don't know how. Oh. Okay. You have found the key. Now go and unlock the cage. By pressing the A button. Okay. That's what I was saving the rocks for. You have saved me. Let's go back to the village. Well, I guess you've passed the test. But I think you were lucky. There is little time remaining to find the Tohunga stone. You must find it quickly, before it is lost in the depths of Mount Ihu forever. Now get going. Maybe you could call him an Asian mom. Po-Koro is made up of Asian moms. Okay. One last final dungeon, and then I'll be done with this. I've been thinking for a few days about what to say about like why this is a good game and what I like about it and what I don't, and I've really came up with nothing. I mean, I know like what I most definitely dislike about it is the tool changes, right? But again, the only way you really fix that would be to make it so there's fewer tool changes, which would require like less variety of tools in the shortest amount of gameplay time. A shorter amount of gameplay time. I mean, not a shorter amount, the same amount, right? Okay, lava board time. That's not what I meant to do. What? Okay, let's just queue up the fruit, because they're easier to deal with. Oops. What? Well, I'm playing this poorly, that's for sure. Okay. I'm really low on health. That's a problem. Okay. Is this just the beginning of the dungeon? One of my favorite gameplay tactics. Be out of its range. check for crystal, like... Check for crystals and things. I have 1 unit of health left. You have found a Watamaka tree crystal. Good. This is one of them. So. That was very much needed. Don't give me health. I guess I came to expect it and was let down. Guess I ran out of fruit. And now I have reduced health to start with. Great. Let me check my recording time. Okay, almost 3 hours. Just gotta get through this thing. Lost health already, gee. Oh. Guess I got hit with it, huh? Great. Did not drop health? Well. Oh. You forget the first time you start with a full, like, batch of health. Every time you fail, they respawn you with less health. So the idea is, if you find this difficult such that you fail, then we'll make it a lot harder for you. I like difficult games, and one thing I intensely dislike is the whole concept of, oh, if you fail, we'll make you start again with half health. It's like, if you fail, that means you thought it was hard, so what we're going to do is we're going to make it so that it's even harder. Now do it. They're like, we want to reward doing it the first time and punish having to try again. Yes, but then you're punishing having to try again by making them have to... this unrecoverable punishment state. What did I do here? Is there anything in the village I can use to recharge my health? No, right? I attempt to dodge. I ran back into the village. Okay. Forgot. Fui was still in range. It lost me an entire health increment. Okay, shoot this way. Okay. Shoot him. Get him with the disc. Ah. There's no way. It seems to be no way to recover from this health crisis. I attempted to dodge and went back to the village yet again. Lost health there again. Uh-oh. Can't you just give me more health at the start? Can't you just do that? Still couldn't dodge it. I hope I'll just let him get me. Managed to do that part. Jump over this gap. Okay. Lava board. Unload. Ready to hit the shoot the disc. Shoot the disc. Okay, lost no health. Do I get health back? Nope. So I still only have 5 units. Okay. Lava board. Jump off. Disc. Cool. Running jump. Still nothing here. Disc. Wake him up. Disc. Hope for a health drop. Meager health drop. We'll take what we can get. Disc. Fair dodge. Good. Disc. Dodge. Good. Disc. And he's gone. Okay. Lost health. No. Disc. 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 Going straight. Okay, got it. Disc in. Whoa. Oh, oh. Oh. Disc. Dodge. Disc. Okay, it's gone, but I lost. Now down to 5 increments. Okay, lava board. And we're gonna have to finagle this a bit here. Made it off. Okay. Oh, Rahi here. Rahi. Rahi. Ah, these guys are here. Got them. Jump off without losing health. 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 Get the goat. There, got your goat. There's where the Watamaka tree crystal was. Okay. Oh. Disc, 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 disc. Okay. Lost lots of health there. Sorry I died last time. Uh-oh. Get out of there. Whoa. While you're hanging out, move on, move on, move on somewhere else. Okay. Up aboard. Jump off. Ah! No. Couldn't control it. Off aboard. Just try to long jump. There we go. Only 5.5 increments. Energy. Is there anything down here that I have to be worried about? No. Okay. Oh. Checkpoint. Okay. We found the 6th toe stone. There's a Watamaka tree crystal around here. There's not? Okay. Well, we actually don't need both of them. We can just solve the final puzzle. Oh, but there it is. Okay. You have found a Watamaka tree crystal as the second one. Now, we just gotta solve this puzzle. Push these stones to where they need to be. Hold on. Drag for me. Drag for me. Switch done. Okay. A few more switches. This one across. Get across, thank you. Sit. You see that first in Po-Wahi, but you don't see how it's going to manifest until there. Or till then. Okay. This is tricky. Bum, bum, shoot. Bum, bum, shoot. Bum, shoot. Bum, bum, shoot. Bum. You time it just right. By the time you see it, it's too late. That's the issue. Oh. You just gotta re-wrangle. I mean, this is just merely a GBA game, so it doesn't really set up any sort of fantastic universe or any sort of real serious escapism. So it's difficult for me to review. So as far as the setting and artwork goes, yes, it makes a very good use of the GBA platform to set up its worlds and its scenes. It makes the most out of what the GBA can do to make it happen. So very good utilization of the platform to shape the setting. The background music is also good. Nothing particularly Bionicle-y about it. It's more like just generic GBA music. It has kind of this kind of cheap sizzliness. I don't know what to call it. Kind of canned nature to it, but it's still good. It has some depiction of the characters of the Bionicle universe, but Takua doesn't really have a personality in here. The personality of the Tamatoran is a bit weird. The personality of the Komatoran is, well, not there at all. Usually the Komatoran are supposed to be very antisocial and seclusive. However, in this game, they seem to have the same personalities as any of the other Toran. There aren't any named characters besides the Turaga and Takua. If you consider a default character name a name. As far as trying to build like a setting like in the story or a world that has its own society with its own rules, they did add the village games in here. So. Okay. Of all the GBA games, though, I've played for the Bionicle franchise, this is definitely the best one. This is definitely my favorite. It only goes downhill from here. And of course, there's some of the negative difficulties they don't like. One of which is when you accidentally exit an area, it doesn't remember that when you previously were in there, which enemies you had defeated, and they respawn. This is another problem with it shares the same problem with Bionicle the game GBA. It also, if you restart a dungeon because you previously failed, you restart with reduced health. Which is something that a lot of games do, and it doesn't make any sense to me, because you failed after failing with full health, we then make you try again with less health. Does that make any sense? And of course, there's this. I obviously have a pet peeve for small little delays, so there's a lot of little delaying that goes on in this game. Part of it is just the tool switching. When you use the like a tool like the pickaxe or the drill, there's an animation for using it. So there's an animation for hitting the rocks with the pickaxe. There's an animation for drilling into the ground. The tutorial dialogue is not skippable, or dialogue is not skippable, like beyond a certain pace. You have stuff like this where you have to re-wrangle the Rahi every time you want to reattempt. So, yeah, as you know, I'm really not a fan of a bunch of small, unnecessary delays in the gameplay. Like little cutscenes, little animations for things. Don't like them. Because I just want the thing to happen instantly that I commanded, right? So I can go on to the next thing to continue playing the game. And whoever came up with this was just, yeah, they were... They just didn't understand what they made, or they're just trying to be mean. And you just gotta re-grab it. Now I'd be asking, why don't you just use save states? And to which I say, I respect the game developers. If they require of me to do something, I will do it. They made the game. It would be irritating to me to make a game and me think, I'm gonna make this difficult because I want the people playing it to struggle this much with it, and then they make it easier by using a save state. They just get around the requirements I set up. I would not be happy with that. Right? Also, there doesn't seem to be any, like, warning on those bomb things. They just blow up on you. And that's it, right? It's all over. There's that iconic picture. Thanks for your dropping by, Ta-Koro. You are our hero, little one. You have recovered the Toa stones. Well, I guess you did. Not bad for an amateur. Now that the Toa stones have been returned, we can once more tell the legend of Matanui. And prepare the way for the arrival of the Toa. Which little did they know would be facilitated by this very thing. Good work. Now please return the Toa stones to their proper places in the temple. Find out later if this printer going off is going to show up in the recording. See how well NVIDIA Broadcast can filter out printer noises. Boom! Apparently he gets amnesia because him having amnesia does not conflict with other story media. Nor add something that they would have mentioned if not. That they would have mentioned but didn't. Ta-Koro arrives on the beach. And Tahu is already there. And already assembled himself. And already walked off. Ta-Koro must have been flying through the air for a pretty long time. Credits. These testers did not complain about that Husi wrangling. I don't know if it's a Husi, that Rahi wrangling at the end. Okay. Okay, story consultant was Alistair Swinnerton. Special thanks to Greg Farsty and Leah Weston. Christian Favor. Okay. All the big names have shown up. Safire. There are cheat codes for this game, but they don't do things that are interesting. Being a game tester, I wonder what that job entails exactly. Because obviously they wouldn't have people exclusively just to play games to see if there's glitches. They would, because then that job position would be, I don't know, everybody would be trying to get it. But they must have some other job on that they do. That's some sort of programming job when there isn't a game ready to test. Anyway, that was that. I really like it. I had fun. It is my favorite of the GBA games they made for the BioNicle franchise, but because of its, you know, small, low-powered platform, um, it can't really do a whole lot. But it seems to do as much as it can to build a world that it can with what it has. Um, and for that reasons, it is a great game. I wouldn't consider it to be worth $30 um, personally. So how do you play this game? You can get the GBA file directly off the Biomedia project. You can it might be a save link as kind of dealy wop, but you click on it, do a save link as, and then you can download the game. It's only 8 MB in size, so it's an extremely fast download. And then you play it with any old GBA emulator. I'm using MGBA personally, but there are many other GBA emulators out there. Or there might be a way, if you have appropriate hardware, to put the GBA file on an empty GBA cartridge. I don't know if that's possible because I'm extremely unfamiliar with the GBA. So someone who knows more about the GBA would say, no way. That's not a thing, but okay, if you watched through that, thank you for watching. And then part two will be the Matanui online game. And we'll pick up with Takua where he left off at the end of this one.